I'm Victoria and this is What Victoria Read. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing the 1001 book tag. I was tagged by the wonderful Mel from a book fiend named Mel, and I will obviously link her and her version of the video in the description. Also, just as a quick disclaimer, Molly, my kitten, is currently playing over there, so if you can hear a ping pong ball bouncing around, that's what's going on. I should probably wait until later in the day when she's sleeping, but this is the only time I've got today to film, so we're just going to have to make it work. So yeah, as I said, I am doing the 1001 book tag. I was tagged by the wonderful Mel. I will also put the original tag in the description and the questions so you can find everything. Please go and support the original creator and watch their video. So there are, I think, 10 questions or so. I haven't done a lot of prep for this because I prefer to just sit down and chat with tag videos, and yeah, let's get on with it. So as always, when I do a tag, I've got my screen up here with the questions. That's Molly playing in the background. Hey, you want to come up here? Here she is, the little hurricane that is Molly. Yeah, I've got my questions up here and we are going to go through them. So, 1001 lists. Do you follow any book lists? It can be a prize list or a challenge like the Rory Gilmore challenge. To be honest, no. I used to a lot. Now she's lost her ping pong ball. I used to a lot, but to be honest, now I only read for pleasure, and so I just pick up the things I want to read. I do have set TBRs, and I will put my TBR playlist in the description if you're interested. And I'm definitely not a mood reader. I'm quite happy just to pick up the next book, but I also don't like the kind of, I think I'd feel a bit constricted if I was following a book list. So no, I don't. Bear with a second, I've just got to go and rescue her ping pong ball. Okay, ping pong ball retrieved, and she's now down here being like, what? I didn't want to play with that. Anyway, next question. 1001 books. Approximately how many physical books do you own? How many ebooks? So I did a very brief, rough count, and I think I've got about 300 read books on these shelves and also upstairs and some other places. I've got around about 70-ish books on my unread TBR. So should we just round up and say 400 books? Is that too many? I have no idea. I don't actually have any ebooks at all. I don't have an e-reader. I am dyslexic and I find reading off a screen really hard, so it's just never appealed to me. But yeah, I reckon around 400 physical books, mostly read, and then my TBR. Okay, 1001 books read. Approximately how many books have you read in your lifetime? Do you keep track? I have no idea of how many books I've read in my lifetime. I've been using Goodreads since 2013, so 9 years. And according to the app, I have read, or marked as read, 870 books at the time of filming. So that means that this year, if I read a similar number of books as I did last year, I will hit 1,000 books tracked as read, which probably sounds about right. I read, well, pre-Booktube, I was reading around 50 books a year. Since Booktube, I'm averaging about 150 books a year. So yes, I don't know in terms of my entire life. I'm 34. I've always been a huge reader. A lot of books, let's go with that. Okay, 1001 Arabian Nights. Have you read any stories from the Arabian Nights? Do you have a favourite? If you haven't read it, do you want to? I haven't read it and I really should. So yes, let's say that I want to. I'm going to put that on my TBR actually. If you have read Arabian Nights, which stories would you recommend? Let me know. Okay, 1001 flavours. Do you have a favourite food or flavour? Now my big cat has woken up as well. I think we're about to get cats playing together. Favourite food or flavour? I'm sorry for the chaos of this video. My favourite food or flavour? That's quite a big question. I mean, in terms of flavours, anything that is grape or peach flavoured, I'm all over. I've definitely got more of a sweet tooth than a savoury, although I also love cheese. But then my favourite cheese is Wednesdale with cranberries in it, so make of that what you will. In terms of favourite food, it really depends. I'm a big foodie, I love food. I'm making beef stew and mash for dinner tonight. Chaos. Which I'm very excited about. And yeah, I love all food, but anything that's like peach or grape flavoured, I would generally gravitate towards. And yeah, it's a really hard question to answer. 1001 pages. Have you read a book that's over 1001 pages? Is there one that you recommend and is it worth the time? What is the longest book you've read? No is the answer. I don't think I've read a book over 1,000 pages. The longest book I've ever read is the Hilary Mantel one about the French Revolution. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head now, and I didn't enjoy that book, partly because I think Hilary Mantel just isn't really an author for me. I've read a few of her books now and not really connected with her writing, but also I personally, there's the ping pong ball again, I personally don't see the need for a book to be over 1,000 pages long. But then I'm not a fantasy reader, and the people that I've seen do this who are fantasy readers talk about how yes, it's definitely worth it to have that number of pages, etc, etc. So I'm not a fantasy reader. According to Storygraph, because I use both Goodreads and Storygraph, my kind of average book length is between 300 and 400, and I would say pages, and I would say that that is kind of the sweet spot for me. Not too long, not too short. So yeah, I haven't read a book over 1,000 pages. I'm not sure I ever would voluntarily. So yeah, 1,001 buckets. Do you have a non-bookish bucket list? What is one thing on the list? So I don't have a literal list that I've written down. One thing that Gary and I, my husband, always talk about doing, and we are going to do one day once like Charlie's grown up and is having his own life and Gary doesn't have to work anymore, and if I can take some time off, is we definitely want to do coast to coast across the States on his Harley. He's got a beautiful Harley Davidson motorbike and I thoroughly enjoy being on the back of that, and yeah, it's definitely something that we're going to do at some point, go from either the east to the west coast or west to east, and we've got a couple of different routes we want to do, and I really can't think of anything better than just being on the back of his bike, the two of us together on an adventure. So at some point that will happen, but not for a good few years, I wouldn't have thought. Okay, 1,001 numbers. Do you have a lucky number? Is there a story behind it? I don't, and that's probably a bit of a boring answer. I don't have a particular number that I gravitate towards. No, sorry. Do you guys have lucky numbers? What's the story behind them? Let me know. I'm always intrigued. 1,001 authors. Do you have a favourite author and or genre? Okay, so if you've been here on my channel for very long, you'll know that one of my favourite authors of all time is Margaret Atwood. You can't see them because I've moved them down here, but I have read all of her novels, all of her kind of fiction works, and she's just someone that I really look up to and adore, and I love her writing. I've also completely in love with Emma Donoghue. I've read most of what she's written. I've still got a few to go and I'm kind of saving them. I also love Alice Hoffman. I think she's a beautiful writer. What's the actual question? Favourite author and or genre? I think I read quite a mix of genres, but probably in the last 2 years, literary fiction has become my favourite. I just find it's really interesting and there's so much to talk about, and quite often it's quite feminist, which is always a good thing. So probably literary fiction, or I love a really like dark, bloody thriller. Can't lie. I love a bit of the like dark, weird stuff. So yeah, those two things probably. 1,001 activities. Do you have a favourite outdoor activity? Yeah, reading in my hammock in the garden in the springtime. Oh, I cannot wait. I'm filming this in February and I am so over winter already. I am ready for the spring. Like, I don't like to be too hot because I don't want to get sweaty, but I like it when it's like warm and it's sort of like, I think like 18 degrees is like my perfect temperature, and I can put the hammock in the garden and just lay out there and read. So yeah, I think this question is actually asking for like non-bookish activities, but no, the only thing I want to do when I'm outside is read in my hammock with a drink and the cats and just relax. I'm so ready. I'm so ready. I'm so ready for spring. 1,001 book clubs. Not a prompt question, but a question for the comments. Should I start 1,001 book club with book a month for a read along? Okay, so I don't think I need to answer that. And then it's just the tag. Okay, so I was tagged by Mel, so I'm going to tag Charlotte at Books and Bargains, Leanne at Literary Diversions, Chloe at Chloe Reads Books, Olivia Savannah at Olivia's Catastrophe, Mary at Mary Amongst Stories. I think we're supposed to tag 10. Who else should I tag? Now the boiler's kicking in. Let's have a quick look at my subscription feed and see who's posted a video, because I really like tagging people this way because sometimes it prompts me. Oh yeah, so Claire at Claire Fenby, 150, Shannon at 155 books. Who else has posted a video recently? Oh, Judith, A Dead Good Book Reviews. She's amazing and really underrated, so you should definitely go and check her out, follow her, and hopefully she'll do the tag. Let's do Brianna at 4 Paws and a Book, and Kaz at Cats and Camera. I don't know how many that is, probably about 10-ish. So that is the tag. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got this far with this very chaotic video with cats and ping pong balls and all kinds of things going on. If you got to this point in the video, leave me the rainbow emoji for my beautiful sparkly rainbow jumper, which is so obnoxiously bright that my husband rolls his eyes every time I wear it, which makes me love it even more. Please subscribe if you would like more of this chaos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks everyone. Bye.